Yo, what's up? Shallstar here to do a My Hero Academia review of chapter 115. Wasn't able to get to last week's review because I was basically I'm in the army and I was out in the field working. Trust me, being in the army is not as hyped up as everybody thinks it is. Anyway, uh, and this one's late mainly because hold up, let's see. Screw it, that'll have to do. Okay. Anyway, this one's late mainly because I just got out of the field yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this one out. I already went ahead and read it. And I got one thing to say. This manga is getting dark really, really fast. I mean, remember in the beginning, it was all lighthearted and Izuku's like met his idol and then he was like, okay, you're a good kid and you got potential, so you're going to go ahead and inherit all my powers and all that. And since then, things have been like kind of like really lighthearted, we got him going to school, they're picking class presidents all the time, them going on field trips. Sometimes villains would interfere, sometimes not, but all around they were just basically having fun. And then we got to the forest incident, and that's where everything just basically started going downhill really fast. Like there's like this chapter 115 is pretty much told from one person's perspective, and even with that being said, he's really showing like it's like you could just tell just how dark this manga's gotten lately. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Like, let's see. Does anybody know who the hell this is? Because I certainly didn't up until he put his mask back on. Anyway, he's basically talking to himself right now. Also, just an interesting little tidbit of something I noticed. That's a dog girl, isn't it? Yeah, I know. Okay, wasting enough time. Sorry. I felt the need to bring that up. All right, so he's basically talking to himself at this point. He's like he's got split personality, and as we read on, we'll figure out why. He's looking out the window and he's noticed everybody's going about their day, happy and all that. Honest, upright people, every last one of them. And he's like noticing that he's just doing his daily routine, which is basically just staring out his window. And he admits it's nothing special at all. According to him, it's his American spirit and observation period, whatever the hell that means. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Nope. Okay, so they've got the news on, and everybody's just basically they're talking about the main focus of what's been on the news lately is the fact that All Might is out of commission. Therefore, they need a new number one superhero. And lo and behold, the new number one superhero is this jackass, Endeavor. And it's like, this is his quote. As far as the average person is concerned, the biggest change to them is mostly limited to this guy, the one who moved on up to become the number one hero, Endeavor. Certainly, much of the anxiety stems from this individual. He's just not the type of person everyone can accept. Points being made up in his bad favor. He abused his wife, basically tortured his son with training. And when his wife finally snapped, rather than trying to help her, he just threw her inside of an asylum and left her there. It was like he basically threw her away. Yeah, he's not someone that people can help accept at all. That's not to say Endeavors is no good or anything, but in the end, you just can't help but compare him to All Might. Point Stone, All Might would not have done any of that shit. Described with a single word, he's coarse. From where I'm looking, he's just an ordinary person pretending to be a superhuman. An uncontrollable force was what alleviated him to this undeserved position. I'm sure it's not a pleasant topic for him either. So yeah, a lot of people are not happy with him. To become the symbol of the weakening heroes, if it were me, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. With the number of incidents Endeavor resolve, while the number of incidents Endeavor resolved is certainly high, the chances where his furious disposition has gone too far are not few either. His base of supporters is mostly comprised of men between their 20s and 30s, a stark contrast to the widely popular All Might. From now on, our role is not just to passively be protective, but we have to stir him up and enliven him as well. Instead of focusing on the negatives, thinking about how he can carry his strength forward is. So simply put, like and they're not exactly happy, so they're trying to think about, okay, he's got enough negatives that we don't even need to get into that. Let's try and focus on the positives and try and help him build himself up to become the new symbol of peace that we need. That's basically what the news person's trying to say. Any rate, the Scarhead guy, he's basically turns it off and says, oh, okay, sorry about that. His name is this guy is basically Jimbu Baigawara, the one who always wore that mask in the Villain Alliance. And we're about to learn how he got his scar a little bit later. Anyway, he's just getting ready to go, and he's having a hard time shutting out the voice that's in his head. We're going to learn about that later as well. And he's like, the weakening of heroes isn't referring to their power; it's a matter of their spirit. Migura knows that all too well. And like the voice inside his head is like, nah, it's all about power. He's like, yeah, no, it's not just about power. All right, it's about like charisma. Can the hero like assure everyone that everything's gonna be okay? All Might could actually do all that. He can't. Endeavor can't. Anyway, let's see. I am here for those who live normal lives. They were heartwarming words, but those who didn't, they were cursed. They were a curse. Okay, so we cut open and we see this shit here right here breaking into a convenience store and stealing a cash register. And he's apparently really hyped that he did it too. Like he feels like he really accomplished something. All the guys who couldn't help but be true to themselves with their curse lifted, hence All Might is gone now. It's no surprise that it turned out this way. All right. All right, so let's see. And we got like some random I'm going to go ahead and say this guy's, I don't know if he's a pro hero, but apparently he's a hero. He's got some type of gadget on his arm, so I don't know if that's got something to do with his quirk or whatever, but he's trying to stop them. And Jin, he's just basically looking on. From here, we'll be looking slightly at a different spectacle. And he tries to stop like that giant toad shit, but this little punk catches him and smashes him in the head with a pipe. Yeah, I don't know if he's a pro hero or not, but he's not much of a hero, if that's all it took to take him down. Alright, so apparently that little punk was named Horo. And he's like, you idiot, you took the whole service counter. And they're just laughing. They apparently think they're big shit. They call themselves the Reserve Dogs. Don't you forget it. Like, that's a really stupid name. Running a red light isn't scary if everyone does it with you. Scoundrels who form their own little cliques and are operating in a planned and systematic fashion has begun to stand out more and more. and he gets a contact from remember for the Villain Alliance. This guy, he basically contacts other villains and hooks them up with like either the Villains Alliance or gives them work or some shit like that. Apparently, he's got a nice day job. Like, take a closer look at here. He's inside his office doing his work. Yeah, you can see like he's got phones and a laptop and laptops and shit. Yeah, this guy is apparently on his off time from being a villain. He's a regular Joe. I mean, he calls Jin. He's like, his name is Giran. He's like, it's been a long time. How are you doing? It's like, apparently Giran is familiar with how Jin works because he's not at all put off about the fact that Giran is having a hard time keeping his personality separated. He's looking like, yeah, doing well. I'm so busy that I can't help but shriek with joy. Over the past week or two, the black market for suits and related items has seen an amazing sudden rejuvenations. Sudden requests have suddenly doubled. You see, it's all thanks to the League of Villains. Nowadays, we're famous with the dumb punks on the streets. Well, ain't that great to hear? And he's like, no, it's not. And again, Jin's trying to tell the voice in his head to shut up. So he asked him why he called since he's busy, and Jin's really not busy. I can't get a hold of Daybird. Better yet, hadn't you heard? Shigari wants to gather together once more. I thought I'd at least go and contact him, but yeah, of course. So again, he's basically freaking out. So this is where we finally get some dialogue of what happens with the League of Villains. At the moment, the League of Villains is scattered across various locations, not only to conceal themselves from ongoing investigations, but more importantly, to find other like-minded individuals and expand their organization. Okay, so they're not just staying in one place like heroes. They're also looking to recruit new blood. And apparently the blackjack looking fucker with the scarred mouth, or let's see, what the hell's his name? Oh yeah, Debi. We'll just call him Debbie for now. Apparently, he found some guys, and he was looking like, okay, let's see, like he's looking at these three, looking like, should I recruit them? And his answer is, nope, we don't need any of this trash. Piss off. And he just straight up barbecue them. Since you're all nothing but garbage, the least you can do is become kindled and burn to ashes. So everyone's basically looking for all the villains are scattered all over and they're looking for new blood to recruit. So let's see. Okay. Jin, he's finally unable to handle anymore, and he says, "I'm splitting up, but if I cover up, I remain as one." He puts on his trademark mask. All right, and this is where we finally get a little backstory on Jin. And let me tell you, uh, it's not like the worst backstory I've ever heard in manga history, because manga characters typically have fucked up back histories, but it's still pretty bad. It's like, let me tell you a story. Back in the day, I enjoyed my fair share of mischief. My quirk is doubling. I make one into two, a simple ability, right? And apparently he cloned himself over and over again, and he made his clones do whatever the hell he wanted. In other words, he was his own king. Problem is, unlike Naruto, he couldn't fucking control his clones. So remember that scar that we see on his head? Yeah, it's because his clones tried to cut his fucking skull open. His clones got angry that he was the one in charge, even though they were all the same. But again, they were just basically clones. They almost killed him. They tied him up, and they began arguing over each other. In the end, they kill each other, but he doesn't know which if he's actually the real one or if he was killed in a massacre of his own doing. So that's a problem, and that explains why he's so freaking messed up. I'm pretty sure he would probably be the real one since, like most characters, if your clone dies, if you die, I'm pretty sure your clone dies, unless of course you're. I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, Jin admits that maniacs have no place they call home. The people that heroes save are always subvert people, and no one else. If I'm able to be of use to the alliance that accepts me for who I am, I think I can be happy being who I am. And he was basically searching for other people who were just as messed up as him. I'd say good luck, but again, this is manga we're talking about, and you typically find really fucked up people. Take this guy, for instance. Remember him? Yeah. This is the guy that tried to rob that cash register. Things did not go well for him. Turns out I said heroes, three villain looking dudes, they had actually saw them rob the convenience store and they attacked them. This is their quote: a group of adults all gathering together just to steal a register from a convenience store. I thought it was too weird. Normally, if you were to gather together like that, you'd have a much bigger objective, I would think. And I'm going to go off and say this guy is the leader of that little group because he has to say, you guys have an illness. Illness must be cured. And this is his idea of curing an illness. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Oh, and get this. If you look closely, you realize like that little turd that robbed the cash register and notice how he was merged with the tire. Look closely, you realize that these guys are actually merged with the wreckage of the vehicle they were driving. Like you see that arm, you notice how it's not actually like sticking out like there'd be metal shrapnel. That it's actually written on the vehicle. That's not a mess up by the artist. This dude's actually merged with a burning vehicle. So I don't know if that actually means that he can feel the pain of the vehicle that's on fire. If that's so, that's really fucked up. So anyway, the dude in the hoodie, he's looking like I took the money. Let's get out of here before heroes arrive. Overhaul. So apparently, bird beak dude, and I'm gonna guess and say they all have a weird beak-like mask on their face because this one has a beak too. And the one who's running it, he's probably overhaul. Again, I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me, but he might be a leader. He might not. He says it's all sick people everywhere I look. Every last one of them. It seems like this lot of maniacs have started to make their own place where they belong. So Jin's trying to figure out, okay, all right, what shall I do? Basically, he's going to try and recruit them into a villain alliance. And this is the last piece of the page. Both the hero size and villain size have begun to undergo a change in appearance. What is important to understand who you are, what you want to become, what you want to do. That is of the utmost importance. Right around when Class A was undergoing the provisional license exam. Okay, so this is what was happening like elsewhere while the exam was going on, while Ezekiel in his class was earning the exam. Uh, we hear a voice, and it's that maximum security prison. We hear a voice. It says, it's about time for the second semester to start, right? Or has it already started? Here, I thought you'd be completely absorbed in their education, but what do you seek from me? I'm here to sell things all for one. So check this out. Yeah, apparently All Might's visiting All for One inside his prison cell, and it seems like he's still All for One is still need to be under. on a serious number of medications, or perhaps there's like some type of drug to keep him from using his quirks. They've even apparently got a single gun in the system. I'm pretty sure that's a gun because it looks too busy to be a camera. They've got a single gun pointed at him, like you make a move and we're probably gonna blow your brains out. The discussion with the big boss is about to begin. And that's pretty much the end of the chapter. All it basically was is a bunch of exposition about what had happened after the fall of All Might and All for One. We see that the heroes are moving forward, and we see that the villains are moving forward as well. The heroes have got like at least 98 kids who are all qualified to perform hero work without needing supervision from the pro heroes. Like by perform hero work, that means that they're not exactly going to be called into operations, but at the same time, if they see a villain running down the streets and harming people, they're free to go ahead and stop that villain. But at the same time, they must also take into consideration collateral damage, the civilians, and how they handle the situation. All that will be taken into consideration. If I remember correctly, I think I said 98. That was a backwards number. I meant 89 heroes had actually passed the exam. The other 11 heroes are currently undergoing a second form of training. As long as they pass that, that means they'll go. Now, while the heroes are preparing, get ready for the, I guess you could say, wave of trouble that's coming their way, the villains who are going to cause that wave are also beginning their own moves. They're causing lots of trouble. The Villain Alliance is currently looking for like-minded individuals. We currently have 3. One of them being Overhaul, and they're just as apparently as demented as everybody else. And Villain Alliance are all around there. Plus, we also know that apparently, what's her name, Toga, she has not only Ochaku's blood, but also Iziku's blood. Don't forget, during the attack when they were in that mountain train in the forest, she got Ochaku's blood. Now she has Iziku's blood, which means she can turn into both of them if she wants. So both sides are getting ready and gearing up, and like it's gonna be like I get the feeling that the next few chapters are gonna be pretty hectic. Like I said, this manga has also gotten really dark, a lot more than what it used to be, but that's to be expected. So that's the end of chapter 115. Go ahead and leave me your thoughts about what you think about it, and tell me and subscribe if you want to. Otherwise, peace. Have a nice day.